Good evening, wrestling fans. Welcome back to another edition of Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Today we're going to be conducting an interview with a unique superstar from TNA. He was also with the legendary faction called the Latin American Exchange. He is an 8-time tag team champion, and we will be interviewing Mr. Shawn Hernandez. We're going to be plugging him in right now. We're just going to give him a few minutes just to plug in, and as soon as we see him, we'll be putting him in. And we're really excited to be interviewing this legend, and knowing the fact that he's been all over. He's been in NWA, he's been in IWA, in Impact Wrestling, and it's a shame we didn't see him in WWE. So we're just waiting for him to come on right now. Okay. We're still waiting. Okay.
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Chilling. It's hot here in San Antonio, so got me a Lone Star Light. I'm good.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You guys hear me good?
Yeah. Let me give you
Cool. What's going on, brother? How are you?
We're good. We're good. We've heard so much about you. I've seen your work in TNA Impact with the Latin American Exchange. You know, that trio you guys had. It was unique and it was awesome, man. In your tenure there in the TNA, you know, can you tell us a little bit about it? You know, how it became about, you know, to create this legendary faction of the LAX and working with Conan and these other enormous superstars that you were working with, you know, against AJ Styles and Kurt Angle and a whole bunch of other people, you know?
Well, it's real simple. Conan had the group, and the original was Apollo from Puerto Rico and Homicide from Ring of Honor. And for whatever reason, Apollo was having trouble making his flights from Puerto Rico to Orlando. And so they had to find another, you know, very stereotypical. They had to find another Hispanic guy. And I was wrestling in Mexico City. We're doing in a mass wrestling in Mr. Texas, and they called me to come fill the role. And I was in the middle of mass, you know, hair versus mass match, so I couldn't come. And so they hired this other guy locally from Florida, Ricky Vega. He did it for about 2 months, and they called me back. Please come in, and that's how it started. I mean, just for the moment of the blue.
Okay. No, that's actually I would say a blessing in disguise. You know, you got the chance to come into a faction, you know, which I've seen what you guys were able to do, you know what I mean? And it was just phenomenal. You know, what a lot of people were wondering, how come you guys never came to WWE with that faction? Because I think you guys could have did a lot of damage to a lot of people, to a lot of superstars in the WWE.
Yeah. Well, it's one LAX name was owned by Impact, so that hurt. Two, Conan went back to AAA and was doing a lot of work there. for some reason they wanted to break us up when the Eric Bischoff and Hogan regime came. They wanted to break me and Homicide up, and it was just a big mess. It's just very political. So we didn't get the just run that we should have gotten. I feel, but I mean, that's wrestling. You really can't cry because I mean, at least you got your foot in the door.
No, absolutely, and you know, unfortunately, some political aspects do happen in wrestling. You know, but you are eight-time World Tag Team Champion. You know, you've held titles in IWA, NWA, Impact Zone. You know, we still see you. We see that a lot of posts that you still wrestling to this day, and you know, making an impact in wrestling still. So,
Yeah.
in this industry, you know, you have your do's and your don'ts. You know what I mean? In your history of wrestling, which match has been your favorite thus far? Like your greatest rivalry that you ever had?
When a singles match, anytime I get to wrestle Kurt Angle or Sting, which was awesome, and when obviously with the tag matches, wrestling the Dudley Boys or wrestling AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, they were phenomenal matches. I mean, you know, just go back to the TNA Vault, and you can see that, you know, us four had some really good matches with AJ and Daniels. It was really good.
No, that's good, and these are phenomenal athletes that you went up against, and I know it must have took a lot of training and, you know, a lot of agility to keep up with these athletes. You know, especially when you're new to the business with these guys that have been in the business for so long. You know, it kind of feels good when you're going through a situation like this. Now, is there a moment in wrestling that you least wanted to forget about when you first came to wrestling? You know, not to put the question out there, but you don't have to answer it if you want to. But anything you would change in wrestling when you first started?
Oh no, man! I've been very blessed. You know, the first year and a half of wrestling, you know, I was getting dark matches WWE, going to Japan. I mean, I was just, you know, most guys wait their whole career and never even get a tryout. You know, so I mean, I would change nothing. You know, it's just, you know, when you have your career going strong, you have to realize that if you do not want to be in the political game, that you will be a casualty eventually. And I mean, I played college football. I played 2 years in arena football. My whole life I've been an athlete, and you know, pro wrestling is the only sport in the United States where the best athlete does not play. It's the best person that the promoter thinks, or the booker thinks, or the political factions think that's going to be the guy that draws the best money for the company. And as you can see, obviously, that the guys who, you know, politic their way through TNA, which in turn killed the company. You see Samoa Joe killing it in WWE. You see AJ Styles killing it in WWE. Robert Roode, you know, Eric Young. I mean, the list goes on and on. Guys that were in TNA that people say will never be in WWE are just now killing. I mean, look at AJ. He's one of the top draws for just on motion action figures. You know, no one would have said that 5 years ago. You know, so obviously the people who are in charge, you know, Dixie was a great owner, but like most owners, she didn't know the ins and outs of wrestling, so she gave that power to certain general managers, and they're the one that messed the ship up. You know, you can blame Dixie all you want to by picking the wrong person, but at the end of the day, it's whoever she chose to be in that position is the one that scored all that money away. And I mean, with so much talent from TNA that's went on to Ring of Honor, that like myself went on to AAA and Lucha Underground, all went to WWE. It's a shame that TNA is now a shell of itself.
Well, I used to see these matches in TNA when you used to be with the LAX. I would see the matches with, you know, that you guys with the destruction pretty much you guys would do. And I was hoping to myself that you guys would have came to WWE to see what it would, you know, what would go down, you know, the impact that you could have brought in there. And as you said, it's all about management. It's all about how you use a character, how you use certain wrestlers in this industry. Because if you don't know how to use this character, your company's going to fall. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And if you would have made if you say, for an example, you would have gone to the WWE with LAX, how much you think of an impact you think you would have made in the WWE?
Well, I mean,
if you were given the right channel to just go with it and say, here,
yes.
it's all yours. Go ahead, take it and go with it.
Well, I think we make a tremendous impact, especially for the Latin community. You know what I'm saying? I represent South Texas and Mexicans. Homicide represents the Puerto Ricans all in the East Coast. I mean, we have the whole market cornered. We have a legend Conan with us. WWE will be printing their own money with our faces on it because that's where we'll be going. You got to realize when LAX was at its hottest, every person in the impact zone, every single person, whether you are white, black, Hispanic, Asian, any race, you wore an LAX shirt up and you throw up LAX signs. So multiply that by the millions of fans, the millions of more fans who know the part of WWE, and just on merch sales alone, that LAX will be. I mean, this house will be double the size I live in now.
Oh, that's good. No, I'm glad. Listen, you gotta think that way. You make that impact. That's how wrestling goes by. That's what the fans want to see. The fans want to see people make an impact in this industry. You know what I mean? Speaking of in this industry, who inspired you to become a wrestler? Who did you grow up seeing as you went along, watching professional wrestling?
Well, obviously there's not a lot of Hispanics, in wrestling, especially, well, now there is. I mean, in the 80s and 90s when I was coming up. So obviously Aldo Guerrero's, Hector Mondo, Eddie, Chavo Sr. was, because I lived here in Texas, they were huge. Jose Lothario, I mean, let's be realistic, when you're growing up at a different time and age, you want someone who looks like you on TV, and that's, Conan was a huge deal on television down here on the border, he was killed in Mexico, so of course that's the guys you look up to. And then, my dad was a Green Beret for 30 years, so he made me get an education before I could be a wrestler. So, I mean, getting beat every day till you get a football scholarship until you're like 18 is not, it's not cool. So,
no, absolutely, absolutely not, man.
A lot of these kids these days are, with parent permission, getting to be able to wrestle at 15, 16 years old, which I wish I could. I had to go to college and wash out in football before I could get a chance to play, professional wrestling.
No, you're absolutely right. The generation has changed nowadays. If you had a choice right now to pick a dream match, like you say, Shawn Hernandez, I'm offering you a match in any organization. Which dream match would that be if you had the chance right now to choose?
Obviously, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Japanese wrestling, of AAA wrestling. The performer has to be right now. In this generation, it'll have to be a match, any kind of match. It could be a tag match, singles match, whatever he wants to do with LA Park, because he is my hero. He's the man, bro. the original Park of the WCW, the chairman of the board. LA Park is my hero.
Mm-hmm.
This man he can do any style. He can brawl. He can do technical. He can high fly. He can do it all. I mean, and I don't want to give his age away, but he's.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
He's at least, I would say, put this way, he has 3 grown sons that wrestle with him. So.
Well, that's good. That's good. No, that's good.
If you ever get a chance to see this man live, he's the most charismatic man I've ever seen in the mask. You don't even see his face.
No, I've heard of his talent. I've seen him wrestle. He's excellent talent, especially in AAA. The man's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal athlete, and it's good that you pick him. That's a good match. Now, when you were in TNA and other organizations, when you won, your tag team gold, and you won your matches. What emotions did you feel in the ring? Like when you were in that ring, because I know once you're outside that ring, you're a different person. But the moment you hit that ring, it's like a transformation. As okay, now it's time to be this ruthless person, to be this character, this gimmick, Shawn Hernandez, to just go with it. How does that feel when you have to hit that ring?
Man, this amps you up, man. I mean, obviously our crowds were a lot smaller than the WWE crowds. I mean, we're still rocking 5,000-10,000 people, and you got Conan who's dictating every single, not move in the ring, but I mean your mannerisms and stuff like that. So I mean, when we first came out and we looked like we just came out the local gig, and it was told to us we weren't even supposed to. If the person was not Latino, don't even shake their hand, don't even look at them, don't smile at them, nothing. Just go to the ring. I mean, it's total opposite how I am because I love hanging out with kids and stuff like that. So you see little white kids try to get a high five as you go to the ring, and you just got a nose salad and just keep walking and look at them mean and see a little kid hurt his feelings. But there was a lot of emotions going in there, but I mean it worked because everyone thought the gimmick was real. The crowd. When we first started coming out there, the crowd was like, "What the hell is going on here?" They let two thugs jump in the ring, and I mean, ask Earl Hebner himself. He'll tell you, he was legit scared of us. When we first was doing our matches, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I remember Earl Hebner. He was an excellent referee, still a good referee to this day. No, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. It's good to want to see a wrestler feel that emotion when they go into the ring. Before we finish this interview, Mr. Hernandez, I just want to ask one more question. As wrestling goes on now, you know the politics, everything that goes on in wrestling, the do's and the don'ts. Is there any advice you want to give to any talent, any people trying to become a manager or a wrestler or a valet, anything in this professional business? What advice would you give them?
The same advice that was given to me, that was given to the guys before me. Dude, listen to these vets. If they've been on television, listen. I try to help all these young guys in wrestling, and with social media and internet and Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff, nobody wants to listen. They want to go from A to Z before they fill out all the letters, and they're not enjoying the moment, and they're really shooting themselves in the foot because maybe they are talented enough to be on television, but they're trying to bypass certain steps to where they're you can tell that something's not 100% correct with the performance when they can have a mentor or a veteran tell them, hey, that's not how you do this. Hey, relax in this moment. Hey, take time for the interviews. Hey, just the ins and outs of a veteran who's actually mentoring you. It's like the same thing if someone works at McDonald's. The first day at McDonald's, can you imagine if you worked at McDonald's, the first day the guy tells you you're sweeping the floor, and you tell them, no, I'm working fries the very first day. What's going to happen?
No, you're going to lose your job, of course.
When there's $1 exchange, once $1 exchange, it becomes a business. It becomes a job. Realize that, hey, this guy knows more than you because he's been there. I tell all these guys, I've been on TV on and off since 2004. And so, every company that you guys want to wrestle at, I've been hired, refired, and rehired again, and before you even got your first shot. So maybe I might, if nothing else, I can show you guys what not to do. And there's so many guys that think they know more than you, or more than the next guy, and they will just jump the shark and they sink or swim and wonder why they failed.
Well, I'm sure a lot of fans just heard that, and a lot of people that are inspired to become in professional wrestling had just heard that. Mr. Shawn Hernandez, it has been a pleasure, sir, to have you on our show. We will continue to monitor your Impact Wrestling. Well, not Impact Wrestling, I'm sorry. Your wrestling career as you go along. And you pretty much have the floor to promote anything you want to promote right now in the next few minutes before we get off the air?
Thank you for having me. I'm wrestling tomorrow here in San Antonio at the Turner Club. Cole Cabana will be in the main event versus Fellow File. And if you're in the San Antonio area, we run the best show in town, River City Wrestling.
All right. We appreciate that, sir. And we will definitely be putting up this interview, and I'm sure a lot of people are listening to this. Thank you, sir, for the interview. We appreciate it. And again, it's been an honor. And keep rocking out there in the wrestling world, man.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Take care. There you have it, fans. The legendary TNA Impact superstar, Shawn Hernandez. We appreciate you watching the interview. We appreciate you being on the show. Tune in tomorrow night, as always, at 8 p.m. on Friday for our weekly show. Our topic is going to be things that need to be brought back to wrestling, in our opinion. And also tune into our weekly interviews that we do have, and we appreciate the support. Any questions or comments, feel free to email us at evolutionofprowrestling@gmail.com. Take care, fans, and have a good night.